but I don't think so that they really believe in that.
Okay, and just now, so you mentioned the you started talking about what Ukraine, how it would perceive this 12-point position paper or no peace, no plan. I think that compared to the reaction in the West, which was immediately to reject completely this proposition from China, Zelensky was actually more conciliatory, as you say. And I wonder how you interpret this difference between Ukraine and the West in this. Of course, it's related to necessity because Ukraine is in the party at war here. But is there any hope in Ukraine of China playing an even greater mediating role, perhaps?
So basically, when it comes to Ukrainian expert community, so I believe that major of them didn't have any illusion on China, or did have very, very few of them, especially from the very beginning and then during first few months. So every illusion on possible Chinese constructive role just disappeared. But in government, some people seems to be still believe in Chinese possible positive and constructive role, but this belief, this hope, gradually diminished. So from the very beginning, it was about maybe seven goals that Ukraine government had. For instance, Ukraine, tried to called China to put pressure on Russia, and then to put China in the list of security guarantors and security guarantors, and then direct negotiation between Zelensky and Xi Jinping, and then improving Chinese position in United Nations voting, etc. So, but most of them just failed, and only few of them are achieved. But it's not due to the Ukrainian diplomacy, I believe. It's due to the European and the United States diplomacy. So the first one, no material support. I mean, in terms of military technical, and a huge support in terms of this sanction. And the second one is not to deteriorate the current position, so the current situation. So even if you don't like Chinese position, there is no reason to criticize, because it could make it worse, even worse. So that's why I do believe that Ukraine just doesn't call Chinese position pro-Russian neutrality or friendly to Russian neutrality or pro-Russian position. Mr. Kuleba, Zelensky, and all of the people from government, they call neutrality, just neutrality. So I think that the most of the government, at this point, they don't believe on any Chinese positive constructive role. Maybe some people still believe, still have hopes, but for the time being, the government position is not to antagonize China in order not to make this position role worse. I don't know if it's good strategy or bad strategy. Maybe it should be make it more straightforward, more clear for government, for people, for Ukrainian people, for international community. But for the time being, they still follow this strategy.